So today we're going to do things just a little bit different, okay? So I'm here as a friend for Miss Denny and Miss Inez, and to help all of you guys as well in the classroom today. So we're going to try something different. Like me and Miss Denny, we're going to be a team today. Miss Inez, we're going to be a team today, and we're going to try something different in terms of how we learn and what that looks like for you guys in the classroom, okay? So there's going to be some new routines and rules, and you've got to do what we asked you to do the first time and flawlessly, okay? So I have some really cool things planned for you guys, and we're going to extend upon the information that Miss Denny has already gone over with you, but I think you're going to like it in a new and different way, okay? So I want you first to think back to last week, okay? It's a long time ago. I want you to think back to last week in reading, what we were doing, and I want you to put a mental picture and some words in your head and be ready to share when I tell you. So what were we doing last week with reading? So when I ask you to talk to your shoulder partner at your table, which is a person right next to you, my friends on the end, you're going to join in to one of the sides. My friend here, you're going to join right over here, and you're going to be his partner for today, okay? And when I ask you to share, this is how it's going to go, okay? I'm going to have one student who's going to be the chips. The other student is going to be the salsa. If you're a three group, you can have some nacho cheese, okay? So everyone has their role. Okay, and I'll tell you who gets to be chips and who gets to be salsa. For the whole day, you're either a chip, you're salsa, or you're some nacho cheese. Okay? When I give you time to share, you only get the time I give you. So that's not going to be a lot of time to talk about your weekend. It's going to be only enough time to talk about what I asked you to talk about. Okay? And then we're going to switch. So if it's Chip's turn to talk and I say you have 10 seconds, Chip's 10 seconds. That's all you have. And after the end of 10 seconds, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to put my hand up, I'm going to put my finger over my mouth, and that means you do the same thing, and we're done. It should be like, quick. Then I'm going to say, salsa's turn, go. Then they're going to go. And then nacho cheese is going to follow right up. They're not even going to wait for me. As soon as this salsa's done, nacho cheese is going, and then we're going to be done. Okay? So we're going to practice the signal. Okay? So you're going to, and that's the thing, I'm going to walk all around this whole entire room. I'm not going to be in one spot. But wherever I am, that's where class is. Okay, that's where the instruction is going on. I could be sitting over here, I could be back there. Anywhere I am, that's where class is. Okay, that's the other rule. So when I say go, you guys are just going to sit at your table and you're going to just talk about your weekend. I had so much fun, I went this, I did this, I like this. Oh, when you see the signal, you do the signal and you get quiet as quick as you can. Let's see how quick we can do it. Questions about that? So it's a free-for-all at your tables right now. Talk about your weekend. Go. So if everybody does a signal, then you'll get to see somebody else in the room. You don't even have to see me, because some people, their back is to me. They don't know. But if Brooklyn's back is to me, and over here my friend puts a signal up, she sees her friend, she knows. Okay? You guys ready to practice it again with our shoulder partners? So the person with the longest hair is going to be Chips. The person with the shortest hair is going to be nacho cheese, and the middle hair is going to be the nacho cheese. Now, we don't have to sit and compare. We're not comparing length. We're just eyeballing it. So, I asked you to think about what we did in reading yesterday. Now, I'm going to give you some time to share with your shoulder partner. I'm going to say chips, then I'm going to say salsa, and then every single person in this class has to be ready, because I might call on you, and you better be ready to answer the question, what did we do last week in reading? And if you don't know, I'm going to say, what were we talking about with our chips and salsa friends, okay? So I'm going to give you 15 seconds. Chips are going to start. When you see the signal, you're going to stop, and then we're going to switch to salsa. Questions? All right, go. What did we do in reading last week? 5 seconds. You gotcha? All right. Salsa's turn. Go. And then you jump in. Okay, so let's see. In the way back, tell me your name, friend. Jeremiah. Tell me something that you guys talked about. What did you do last week in reading?
That Miss Danny gave us a fable, and that there was a bird that was trying to put water or something inside of it.
Okay, so you're reading some stories about fables. Okay. What was the main idea that we were doing? What was the skill that we were working on? Was it just reading the story, or was there something that we were doing while we were reading the story? There's a purpose behind it. Let's think about what that might be.
Increasing your reading skills?
Okay, absolutely. We have to be better readers. Yes, friend?
That, we would see what the picture was, determine what the story would be about.
Light bulbs going off? Any light bulbs? All right. Well, we're going to stick with that same thing. So I don't know if you guys really pay attention to what we're working on. But back here, Miss Denny always has her standards and the objectives. There's a purpose behind what we do. We're not just coming here just having free time for no reason. We're coming here because, number one, my friend here said we have to be better readers. Third grade is that important time where you guys are not learning how to read anymore. You're reading to learn. There's a difference. It's a shift. And so we're looking at, this week, drawing conclusions, making out this idea of what's happening and why from illustrations in the text, the pictures, just like my friend said. We are looking at how do we use the pictures to help us understand what we're reading. Because they don't put pictures in just so that we can see something pretty. They put pictures in to help us, and there's ways that we can do that. So at the end of today, we're going to look at some of these questions. Number one, what ways do illustrations, and illustrations is the bigger academic vocabulary word for pictures. So what way do the illustrations help you understand what you read? That's going to be our number one question at the end of today. I expect that at the end of today, you will have an answer for that. Okay? Questions about that? So at the end of today, you need to be thinking the whole time that we're going through this today. Okay, we're looking at illustrations, we're looking at pictures. How do they help me understand what I'm reading? And at the end, I know you'll be able to tell me. Okay? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to transition to the floor. Miss Hale teaches 6th grade. We never get to sit on the floor. We're going to sit on the floor. Okay? But there's some very specific rules to sitting on the floor. You're also going to bring your whiteboard and your marker. Again, very specific rules for whiteboards and markers. So I will know you're ready to listen because your eyeballs are looking at my eyeballs and you are ears open, minds open, ready to go. When we transition to the floor, you are going to take your whiteboard and your whiteboard marker, and that is it. You don't need a pencil, you don't need a water bottle, you don't need a coat, you don't need a headband, you don't need all this stuff that you want to grab because you think you're never coming back to your desk. You're coming back to your desk and you don't need it. So only bring your whiteboard and your marker, okay? It's going to go like this. You're going to stand, you're going to scoot yourself out of your chair, you're going to stand up, you're going to push your chair in. You're going to walk very quietly very calmly to sit on the floor. You're going to sit beside your shoulder partner that you're sitting with right now. You're not going to change and go find a friend and like, let's have a little party over here on the floor. Let's have some social time. We're going to have recess. You're good to go. You can do that at recess. Now is learning your partner is who's sitting beside you. You're going to sit side by side with that person. Okay? When you get side by side to that person and you go to sit down, we're not a hodgepodge. We're sitting in an organized way so that you can A, see the board, you can B, see me. I need to be able to move. So you need to give me some space that I can move here. If I need to move here, if I need to move any which way, I want to be able to move. So just kind of keep some spaces open, okay? If you can't sit on the floor for some reason, we could talk about it. But otherwise, everybody's on the floor. We're not going to be here a long time. You're going to come down, you're going to sit crisscross applesauce. Okay? I'll have somebody show you crisscross applesauce. We're not kicking our friends. We're not elbowing our friends. We're not hitting them with the marker. None of that. Okay? Our whiteboard can get sat on our lap. Our marker is going to be on the side of us where we can get it when we're told to do so. Whiteboards and markers are for learning. They're not for coloring. So you will not use your whiteboard and marker to draw me a picture unless I ask you to. You will not use your whiteboard and marker to write yourself a little note. You will not be drawing and coloring while I'm teaching unless I ask you to do so. Can I clarify my instructions or directions any before we start to see what that looks like? Okay, so Brooklyn, can you model for the class what that's going to look like? So can you get me your whiteboard, your marker? Can you push in your chair? Can you walk up here, find a seat anywhere, and show me crisscross? Show me where your whiteboard's going to go. Show me where your marker's going to go. Just like that. Hands are in her lap. She's ready to go. Can everybody see what my expectations are? It's not loud. It's not chaos. It is very calm. And it's going to be done in 10 seconds. You're going to get your stuff. You're going to transition. You're going to be sitting down here, and within 10 seconds, I'm able to start my lesson. Any questions? I shouldn't hear arguing. I shouldn't hear fighting. I shouldn't hear any of that. Grab a marker, grab your whiteboard, push in your chairs, and come sit. Ready? Go. 10 seconds. It is loud. I get it is loud. Have them sit next to you. Friend. We're not talking. You need to be by your shoulder partners. So don't sit down next to anybody besides your friend. Okay, here's some room over here. There's some room back here. If you're a group of 3, then sit in a group of 3. We're down to about 3 seconds. Make sure you're sitting beside your person. Back a little bit. So I have just a little bit. And you're here. Are you with Kelsey now? You're a group of 3? Okay. All right. Partners, yes? Partners. Group of 3. Partners. Partners. Closer so that you are partners. This is it. Are we a group of 3? I'm with her. Okay, let's sit side by side. You're a group of 3 here? Okay. Where are you? Group of 3? Okay, scoot back so that you're all 3 together. And then let me have you switch to the other side. Partners, partners, partners. Okay? All right, markers are at our side. We're not touching them. We're not taking the caps off and on. When it is time for markers, I promise you, I will tell you. Okay? All right, so the way that this is going to go is I'm going to show you guys exactly what I want you to do. You're going to hear how I think. I'm going to tell you what's going on in my head. Why? Because if you don't know what's going on in my head, how are you supposed to know how to do it in your own head? When we're thinking about understanding what pictures mean, and we're thinking about how that relates to the words on the page, that is really, really, really complex thinking. And I don't know about you, but have you seen somebody think? Seen it? You know? It's not really a visual thing, right? Right now, you could be thinking, oh, Miss Hale, ugh, I don't want to be here. I'm so tired. I want to be on the weekend again, right? I don't know yet. I don't know that. I might be thinking, gosh, I wish some kids would follow directions and put their markers down on the floor like they were supposed to, on the floor like they were supposed to, and that their hands are just right there. I might be thinking that. I don't know, but if I don't say it, then you don't know. Okay? And I'm going to help you see what's going on in my brain. Because when you see what's going on in my brain, it's going to help you do it in your brain. Okay? So you're going to hear me a lot talk about what I'm thinking. And then, after I've done it, and I've shared with you, this is going to be your turn. Okay? You're going to start thinking and sharing and writing. Okay? So for right now, you're going to be paying attention. Now, here's the deal. I am well aware that you can tune me out. Okay? Where that means like not listening, and you look like you're being an angel, because if you sit real still and you don't talk, teacher always thinks you're being good, even if in your head you're not even paying attention to teacher. Yeah, I know. I was a kid. I'm still a kid. I still have to think about paying attention. So I'm going to ask you guys to talk to your partner. I'm going to ask you to answer questions. If you're not paying attention, you're not going to be able to do that. Okay? There is no wrong answers. There is no time that anybody should be worried if I call on you and you give an answer and it's not right, that somebody's going to laugh or you're going to be embarrassed. Learning is not an embarrassing thing. Guess what? It is not. Because guess what? Every single one of you learned how to walk. And guess what? You did not stand up and just start running. You fell. And you fell again. And you kept falling. And guess what? You kept getting up. And then you'd fall. And then you'd get up. And you'd fall. This is, if we have video, this would be you. Kaboom! Right there on your diaper bottom. And then you do it again. Or riding a bike, scuffing our knee, hitting our elbow. Okay, friend, that's the first warning. Second warning, you're out over there. Third warning, you're out of the class. Do you understand? Okay, you're at 1. Thank you. So, learning's the same way. We don't all get to be the smartest person in the world the first time. Guess what? Miss Hale's far from the smartest person in the world, and sometimes she has to read things about 3,000 times to even understand what it means. Guess what? If I read it 3001, I got it. That's the same way that we're going to do today. So there's no wrong answer. There's no feeling dumb or stupid about ourselves. There's no laughing at people. You can laugh at the story. You can laugh about that. But if somebody says something and you know that's not the right answer, we're not going to giggle. Because guess what? We learn more from our mistakes than we do getting things right. If you got 100% on every single test, the learning that you're probably having, not so much. Sometimes we need to get a 0. Because we need to know what we don't know. And that's what we're going to do today. Okay? And that's always my expectation. And when you come to 6th grade, if I'm your 6th grade teacher, you can ask my students, that is the way it is. Okay? Questions? Okay? So if I call on you and you don't know, you don't need to be embarrassed about not knowing. Try. Try. What's the worst thing that happens? You get the problem wrong. Guess what? There's no wrong answer. We're learning. Okay? We're not taking a test today. Okay? Questions? All right. So today, I'm gonna shut the light up. It's gonna kind of watch your eyes. So today we're gonna be looking at this idea of pictures and how the pictures help us understand the story. So when I'm looking at, you guys are going to have the opportunity to do the same thing. You're going to be seeing pictures. You're going to be seeing stories. Some of you at the end of today are going to be drawing your own pictures and writing your own stories. Some of you will be working with me. Some of you will be working with Miss Inez. Some of you will be sitting at your table group working out of a reading book like this, a literature book, okay? But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the same form that you're going to be using so you can see how we're going to do it, okay? So the book that we're going to read today is Jumanji, okay? And I think this book is awesome because Chris Van Allsburg, he does a really good job with pictures, okay? So we're going to be looking at that. So right now, this is your role. Your job right now is to A, be sitting as still as you can and focusing as much as you can. B, that you're listening to what I'm saying, listening to what I'm thinking, and watching the story. And C, that you're able to answer questions or talk to your chips and salsa partner about anything that I ask you to do. Okay? So, we're going to start. So, when I start any kind of book, I'm always going to start with the picture. If it is a short story, if it is anything else. And so I'm going to start by looking at this picture. The first thing that I'm going to do, and I have some questions. Let me grab 2 pieces of this. Sorry. I have some questions that I'm going to be thinking about when I'm doing this. And I have a copy of these questions for each one of you to have when you guys go back to your desk. So we're going to be thinking about, what do I see? Okay, what do I see? How do I know what's going on? What do the pictures on the page allow me to see? And how can I make connections between the pictures and the writing, the written work, the story? How does the picture help me understand what's happening in the story? What information from the story directly relates to the picture, and what information in the story is not something I see in the picture? Those are kind of going to be our guiding questions that we're thinking about as we're going through this. So the first thing when I look at my picture is I have to look at it and say, gosh, what in the world is going on in that picture, Miss Hale? I don't even understand. I got to look at it. Well, I am looking at this picture and I'm seeing this little girl or this little kid. It might be a little guy. I don't know. Our friend. Our friend is sitting on his knees on that chair. And they're looking down. And oh my gosh, I see a train going underneath the chair. I see a ball. Oh, and guess what? I didn't even say, look at, there's a person back there. It's like they're hiding. They're hiding there. And they're looking out at this little girl on the chair, this friend on the chair, and there's a little house. So I'm looking at this picture, I'm thinking, gosh, are they playing hide and seek? What are they doing? Are they playing together? Are they not playing together? I don't know. But I definitely see there's toys out. I see that there's something going on. So I have now looked at my picture and I've talked about and I've thought about, okay, what do I see? So now I'm going to read, and then we're going to talk about what we see with regards to some of these questions. So, now remember, Mother said, your father and I are bringing some guests by after the opera, so please keep the house neat. Quite so, added Father, tucking his scarf inside his coat. Mother peered into the hall mirror and carefully pinned her hat in place, and then knelt and kissed both children goodbye. When the front door closed, Judy and Peter giggled with delight. They took all the toys out of their toy chest and made a terrible mess. But their laughter slowly turned to silence till finally Peter slouched into a chair. You know what? He said. I'm really bored. Me too, sighed Judy. Why don't we go outside and play? So now, I have to come back. Remember I said I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. I called it a friend. I didn't know what was going on. I saw 2 people. So now, I can use both the picture and the story to help me understand what was going on. I saw this little friend right here on the couch, and I didn't know. Well, now I know who that is because it says, but their laughter slowly turned to silence, and finally Peter slouched into a chair.
Peter is a boy.
So Peter is a boy, and he's in the chair, so now I know who it is. I also know that there is both children. When the front door closed, Judy and Peter giggled. So I know that this is Peter because he's in a chair. And now I know that this is Judy because she's the other one in there. I also said I saw all now I have to think back and I'm like, what was going on? Mom and Dad were leaving and they told the kids, don't make a mess. We're bringing friends back after the opera. What do I see?
A ton
A mess. So I now know from the picture and the story that Peter and Judy have not listened to their parents and they have made a terrible mess. So if I look at this, I can sketch or write a drawing, and I put sketch because some of you guys like to draw a little bit better. Miss Hale's not a very good artist, but she's really good at some stick figures. So I'm going to give Judy some hair. That's how you know it's a girl. And then I'm giving Peter, he gets a spiky do. That's how you know it's a boy. So I got Judy and Peter. And there they are. Okay? I've got toys every which way. This is going to be my choo-choo train. Yep, it is a train, whether you think it is or not. That's what I've decided is a train. And there is a huge mess. Mom and Dad left. They left the house. And I know that they were supposed to keep the house clean. So now when I come over here, it says write a description of what's happening in the picture. I really want to compare. I really want to compare the picture and the story. So I want to put the things that they both have and the things that they are different. So in the picture, they both have Judy and Peter. Judy and Peter are in the picture, yes? Judy and Peter are in the story. They both have Judy and Peter, okay? I also know they both talk about the toys and the mess. They both talk about the parents leaving and the guests that they're going to bring. Now, I've got to think of what's different, too. I look at the picture. If I'm just looking at the picture, what don't I see? What don't I see? I'm going to do this one, because you guys are going to do this next one. I look at this picture. I don't see Mom and Dad. Do you see Mom and Dad? I don't see Mom and Dad in this picture. So in the pictures, I don't see Mom and Dad. I don't see them there. I don't see their friends. I don't see information about the opera. If I look at the story, that's where I see it. I see Mom and Dad. I see about the friends. I see about the keeping the house clean. All of that is just from the story. Now I want you to think about what would happen if I only looked at the picture and I tried to answer a question about the story. Ooh, I know that I didn't know about Mom and Dad. I did not know. I might not have chose that as an answer. I didn't know that they were supposed to keep the house clean because all of that was in the story. I have to use both. And when I use both, do you know exactly what's going on? Let's see. I'm going to give you 30 seconds, each, chips and salsa, to tell your partner what happened in the story with the picture and this page, just on this page. You have 30 seconds to tell them everything that you can remember, and then at the end, you have to be ready to do what?
Listen.
At the very end, after you shared, what do you have to be ready to do? What might I do? Yep, I'm going to give the signal. We're going to have to be quiet. But everybody has to be ready to share out. If you don't talk to your partner and you don't know, you might not be ready to share out. Are you ready for the signal? We're ready to share. We're ready, chips and salsa. Salsa, we're starting with you this time. Are we ready? 30 seconds, salsa, go. Awesome job. Chips, give it to them. Go. Nacho cheese, fill in. Go.
Because they got bored and said, let's go outside and play. They talked about natural outside.
All right. So I asked you to be ready to share out. But guess what? I'm not going to ask you what happened in the story. I'm going to ask you a different question. Ooh, shaking things up a little bit. What was something that I did not know when I looked at the picture only? What is something that I did not know when I just looked at the picture? How about you, friend? Think about it for a second. I'm going to come back to you. You got a second to think. All right, buddy, what you got?
When I first looked at the picture,
What didn't I know?
I didn't know that Judy was back there.
I did not. We didn't even know Judy was back there. Well, we certainly didn't even know, because Miss Hale didn't know a boy or a girl. I didn't know who was who. It's black and white. It's hard to tell. There's no pink. This is how Miss Hale always decides it's all about pink. Right? We didn't know. Awesome. You ready? You ready? All right, what you got?
On the toy that,
With the toys.
the house, and Judy was behind the house, and she was playing.
And you didn't know that.
So creepy.
Very cool. You did not know that. All right, one more person I'm going to ask. My friend in the orange, what is something we didn't know about what was happening when we looked at only the picture? We didn't see Mom and Dad. We didn't even know they were there. Okay? All right, so now, putting our thinking caps back on. Remember, Ms. Hale shared with you how she thought about things. I'm going to do it one more time, and then it's going to be your turn to share your thinking hat. Okay, so let's start with the next page. I'm starting with the picture. As I'm coming around, even though it's Ms. Hale's going to share with you what she's thinking, you can start to think too. So you should be thinking about these questions. What's going on in the picture? What do I see? So in Ms. Hale's brain, when she looks at this picture, first off, I have to think back to what I know happened at the last page. I know the last sentence they said, let's go outside. Mom and Dad never said anything about going outside, and they certainly said no making a mess. And now I look, and oh, they are outside. That is not inside a house anymore. And I look, and I can see some trees. I can see some shrubs. Shrubs is a fancy word for bushes. I can see that there is a statue. I can see there's some birds flying around. And oh my goodness. It looks like they are going outside of some kind of gate. All of that is stuff that I see when I look at this. If I look closer, I see some shadows up here. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on over there. And now I'm going to read. As I'm reading, I'm thinking about What information do I see that relates to the picture? What information is different? Peter agreed, so they set off across the street to the park. It was cold for November. The children could see their breath like steam. They rolled in the leaves, and when Judy tried to stuff some leaves down Peter's sweater, he jumped up and ran behind a tree. When his sister caught up with him, he was kneeling at the foot of the tree, looking at a long, thin box. "What's that?" Judy asked. "It's a game," said Peter, handing her the box. "Jumanji," Judy read from the box, "a jungle adventure game." "Look," said Peter, pointing to a note taped to the bottom of the box. In a childlike handwriting, there were words, "Free game," for some, but not for all. P.S. Read instructions carefully. "Want to take it home?" Judy asked. "Not really," said Peter. "I'm sure somebody left it here because it's so boring." "Oh, come on," protested Judy. "Let's give it a try. Race you home." And off she ran with Peter at her heels. Now I'm really thinking. Oh my gosh, I'm thinking. Because there was a lot of information in this story that I didn't see in the picture. But I now can see what is going on. Hang on. I know, this is exciting stuff. This is a really good book. So, I look at this and I think, okay, I know. Do I see any leaves? And Jude shoving it into his sweater. I don't see that, but I can picture it in my head now. It's not in the picture, but I know it's there from when I read the words. Do I see the tree where the game Jumanji is?
No.
I don't see that, but I know that there is that. Game is there. And I know that game said, it's a jungle adventure game. And it says it's a free game for some, but not for all. So I have to go up here, and I want you guys to help me. So you have your whiteboards. And we're going to kind of do this one kind of together, and then I'm going to let you guys try one on your own. So let's look. We got to sketch a little bit of a drawing about what happened. And I'm going to kind of go with both. What happened with both? Well, I know. Where are they now? Oh. I'm going to draw something that's going to show me that they're outside. And we're not taking a long time for our drawings because this is just to help get our brains going. So they're outside. Leave your whiteboard there and run around. Then, what happened? They're outside. What did they find?
A game.
They found a game. What was the game?
Jumanji.
It was Jumanji. It was Jumanji. And we know that what happened to the game? What did they do with it?
Take it home.
They grabbed the game and they went running home, right? There's my home. So now let's think about what was the same and what was different. So what were things that the picture and the story had in common? Write it down on your whiteboard. What was the picture and the story had in common? So right now we're writing words. No drawing lines, anything. As soon as I say write, you've got to write them down. What did the picture and the story both have? You don't have to write complete sentences. You can do just one word, 2 words.
Can we write different?
Only same right now. Same right now. What did they have the same? You don't have to worry about complete sentences. Just write, just jot down. These are called jot notes. Just write it down. Come on. What did they have the same? What was in both? Yes. Keep going. What did they both have? Yes. Oh, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. Now look at this. Look at the picture. See what you have. Can you see that in this picture? Can you see this? You sure? Okay. And I only want, for sure, I know that they're in both. What could we see in the picture and in the words? For sure, without making any guesses, without trying to think, well, yeah, that kind of could be, or maybe I see that. What do you absolutely know is in both? How about you? What's in both? Real loud.
They both tell you that they're outside.
They are both outside. Can I see from the picture they're outside? What tells me that they're outside from the picture? Brayden? I can see the light from the sun. What else tells me that they're outside in this picture? Brooklyn?
So when the sun is shining, that means like you can see your shadow.
Yeah, but what else? Come on, let's be Captain Obvious. How do we know? Yes. There's trees. There's bushes, right? So that helps me see, because how about in your house? Do you have in your living room a bush?
No.
Yeah, some trees? A statue of a horse?
No.
Anybody? No, so that helps me see that. Let's go with some differences. What? I want you to have one difference. One difference about the picture and the story. Quickly, everybody should be writing. What is one thing that is different from the picture than in the story? And where did we see that? In the story or in the picture? In the story. We didn't see it in the picture. So what's one thing you can see in the picture, maybe that you don't see in the story? Yeah. You can see that there's shadows. You can maybe even see that there's a statue. And they didn't really talk about that. Okay, very good. Okay, 10 more seconds. All right, Chips, you're up. You're going to have 10 seconds to tell Salsa what you saw different in the picture than in the story. Just picture, then in the story. And then it's going to be Chip's turn, or no, Salsa's turn to tell me about the story versus picture. All right? I'm going to give you 30 seconds. You're going to switch. At the end of 30 seconds, you're going to be ready to share out. Ready? Go. That was a good difference. 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
I can't do much.
Think. All right. All right, so one thing that we talked about. And where did we see that? Where did we see? We saw that in the story. Okay? Did we see that in the picture?
No.
Did we see him finding a game?
No.
Okay. Yes, one more thing.
Statue in the picture, but it didn't tell you that in the story.
There's a statue in the picture, but it didn't tell me that in the story. Now, remember, I went over our objective for why we're doing this. We're doing this so that we can understand what's going on. And I asked the last time, what if I answered questions just using the picture? What have I missed? answered a main idea question. What's a main idea? And all I do is look at the picture. Does the picture tell me what the main idea would be of this?
No.
What do you think the main idea of this section was in this story? The main thing that we're going to take away. What do you think? The main thing they wanted us to learn from this story. They were going outside. Now, is that really what happened? Is the only thing they talked about in the whole thing was going outside? What was that main thing that just, whoo, now I want to keep reading thing, that what's going on in here thing? That Jumanji. Did I see that here?
No.
So I would have missed, but now do I have a complete picture of what's going on if I use both?
Yes.
I know. So now here's what you're going to do. This is going to be all you. All you. You're going to clear your whiteboards right now. I'm going to flip the page. Remember all the thinking that Miss Hale did out loud? You're going to think it. You're going to write down everything that you can think of that's going on here quickly. We're not doing full sentences. And then I'm going to read the story, and then you're going to do this, okay? So I'm going to come around with the book, and I'm going to let everybody have a good look, and you're going to write down, what do you see from the picture only? What do you see from the picture only? Okay, write it down. I'll come back around again. Okay, well, just right underneath it, and we'll do it.
I didn't hear the title, and then when you said it, and it said the board game, it reminded me of the movie when I watched it.
This is based, the movie was based off of this book. So go ahead and write it down. And remember, we're doing what we got just here, not our background knowledge of movies and stuff. We got to do just what we see. So write down what you see from here. I see this. I see a dog. Whatever you see. I should see writing on your boards. I should see what you see. About 10 more seconds. And then you're going to sit and listen. All right. Marker caps on. Markers down. And it should be done in 3, 2, 1. Markers down. Caps are on. Frank, down. Marker, down. Nope, on the ground. All right, perfect. Here we go. Are we ready? Now we're listening. At home, the children spread the game out on a card table. It looked very much like the games they'd already had. There was a board that unfolded, revealing a path of colored squares. The squares had messages written on them. The path started in the deepest jungle and ended up in Jumanji, a city of golden buildings and towers. Peter began to shake the dice and play with the other pieces that were in the box. "Put those down and listen," said Judy. "I'm going to read the instructions." Jumanji, a young people's jungle adventure, especially designed for the bored and restless. A. Player selects piece and places it in deepest jungle. B. Player rolls dice and moves the piece along the path through the dangers of the jungle. C. First player to reach Jumanji and yell the city's name aloud is the winner. "Is that all?" asked Peter, sounding disappointed. "No," said Judy. "There is one more thing, and this is in capital letters. D. Very important. Once a game of Jumanji is started, it will not be over until one player reaches the Golden City." What are things they had that were the same? What are things they had different? Write it down. I want you to see the you're ready. What's the difference? Give me a difference. Give me a difference. Come on, what we got? All right, 30 seconds. Chips, start. Salsa, go after, and then we'll go.
But this in the picture, it doesn't show them only in the game. But it doesn't show the work on the instructions.
Yeah, whichever one. They show
But the board that's easy. This is not talk about anything in the background.
So there's 2, 3, 4, whatever. 1, it doesn't matter. All right, so what did we see in both? What did we see in both? Sweetheart, what did we see in both? Real loud.
We did see them playing the game.
We saw them both playing the game, right? In the story and in the picture, right? So let's talk about what was something that was different. Something that we did not see in both. Yes, friend?
It didn't show reading the instructions.
We didn't see her reading the instructions. What else?
They didn't see there was a dog or that.
Yeah, we saw dogs in the picture. We didn't talk about dogs in the text.
We didn't know the game was not over until they finished.
We did not know that. So what could let's go back to this idea of the dog. What could I then say about the importance of the dog? Could I say that the dog is really important to the story? If they didn't talk about it in here and all I saw was the dog in the picture, is that a very important part of the story?
No.
Probably not a very important part of the story. What do you think the most important part of this page of the story is going to be? What's the most important part? That, absolutely, the game, because I see it in both, right? So that's what we're going to do. Now, I'm going to disappoint you terribly, okay? I'm going to make you real upset, okay? We're going to transition out of reading this story, but Miss Denny will finish the story with you, okay? What we're going to do now, though, is we are going to do our own work, doing the same things that we did before, okay? The difference is going to be what we're going to do it with. Now, I have some books that you are going to have that don't have words. They're just pictures. And you are going to have to write down what you think is happening in the story, just like what we did with Jumanji. We wrote down what we thought was going to happen, and then we read about it. The only thing that's going to be different is you are going to not be able to read about it. So you're going to have to describe what you see in your own words and make up your own story for the pages in the book. So if you look at this, you're going to sketch a drawing of what's happening, and you're going to write a description of what's happening, just like we did. You won't find similarities and differences because you're going to make them up. Okay? So let's go through what that might look like on this page. So if I look at this page, I can write, after I've looked at it, I see there are frogs floating on lily pads. Oh my God, it looks dark. There's fish popping out of the water. There is all kinds of craziness going on. I see flowers, I see turtles, I see the whole 9 yards. And now I'm going to write down what I think is happening. I think that the frogs are going to go on a trip somewhere. They're getting on their lily pads. And I'm going to write that in this box. You're going to be working with the people at your table group. And let me explain the rules and directions for that. Okay. When I tell you where you're going, you're going to get up and you're going to go there. Okay? You will need to have a pencil and only a pencil. If I tell you you're at the back table with me, you'll need your whiteboard and marker. That's all you'll need. Okay? When you get to your group, friends, with me. When you get to your group, here's the expectation. And listen carefully. When I am sitting at that back table with that group, I am off limits. You are not allowed to ask me questions. You're not allowed to raise your hand. You're not allowed to ask for a drink. You're not allowed to ask to go to the bathroom. You're not allowed to say, he won't share, he's not nice, I can't see the picture, nothing. I am off limits. Nothing can disrupt me. I won't be back there for more than a few minutes at a time before I'm going to start walking around. When I'm walking around, that's when you say, Miss Hale, I need a drink. Miss Hale, I don't understand. Miss Hale, this, that. You understand, and you can do this. I wouldn't give you an assignment that you couldn't do. So, if you have a question when I'm in the back, Miss Denny is not available, Miss Inez is not available. They are working with kids too. You can ask a shoulder partner. If that still doesn't answer your question, you can write it down on the side of your paper so you don't forget your question, and you're going to keep working. There is never a time where you are allowed to sit and do nothing. If you don't understand, you do the best that you can until your question gets answered. Is sitting and doing nothing an option? No. No. Is not working an option? No. Is having off-topic conversations an option? Meaning, oh, what are you doing this weekend? What did you do? Oh, da 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 da. None of that. Okay? Questions about that? And we'll be working on this for a few minutes at a time that you guys are going to be working. About 10, 15 minutes on your own time working. I will be around to help you. Can I clarify my instructions? Okay, so when I tell you where you're going, you're going to, if you are not at the back table, you're going to go grab a pencil, and then you're going to get where you're supposed to go. Okay, well, Miss Denny's going to help me tell you where you're going. Okay, questions? Wait until everybody's called for a group, then you can get up quietly. It is quiet. When you guys came down, although you did a pretty good job, it was loud. I'm going to tell you, you're already at warning 1, I don't want to go to warning 2, okay? So it's quiet, and we're going to make our transition. So when Miss Denny tells you where to go, you're going to quietly get up, go get it, go where you're supposed to, and then I'll come around and explain what you're working on.
Okay, back table will be Alex, Kelly, Jeremiah, Sora, and Malia.
So take your whiteboards and markers, go sit at the back table. If you need to grab chairs or whatever, that's fine. Let's just keep her here and let's move.
Okay, these 4 are going to go to group 3. So we're going to have Nathan, Ethan, Luis, and Talia. Go sit at group 3.
Grab your pencils and then go. Okay, so let's break them up into 2.
With you?
Right there, 2, 3. Right there.
And then just put them, your paper that has the questions that are going to help you do what you're supposed to. And I have your boxes. And then I'm going to come around and give you directions for what you're going to do. Okay? So, not everybody's going to be doing the same thing. Okay? Different groups are going to be doing different things. If you have a question and you need an answer to it, write it down on a piece of paper so that you have that question available for you. Okay? Once you have your information, you can begin. Now, if you are talking at your table, what should the volume of that discussion be? Brooklyn. Like, I mean, almost to the point where I can't hear you. If I have to call back attention because we're being too loud, then that takes away from our learning. Questions about that? You guys too. Okay, so look at the directions. It says you are going to create pictures, okay, in your boxes right here that have animals. They need to describe the setting. They need to show a problem, something in your picture, okay? Then you're going to do that just like we did up here, okay? Then on the other side, you are going to write 3 sentences that describe what's going on in your picture. Now, can you write about things that are not in your picture?
Nope.
Think about the book. Was there stuff written that wasn't in the picture? Yeah, you can. So you can write about things that are not in the picture. Can you draw things that are not in the writing? Can we draw things that are not in the writing? Yes, but should the main idea be the same? Okay, questions about what you guys are working on? Okay, go ahead and get started. We're going to do the exact same. I picked a different book for you guys. You guys are going to go through this the same way that we just did. Okay? It does. Okay? So, you're going to first do the picture. Then you're going to read the words and you're going to compare them. What are similar, what are different? And you're going to write them down.
We also write them down.
Nope, just on this paper now. You won't need your whiteboard or marker anymore. But you're going to have to do it together because it's only one book. You will need to function. Yep. So questions about this. So you guys need to share and do it together. So putting it down, not putting it up just for you. And then somebody needs to read. I want you each to take a turn reading a page out loud so that you guys can read together. But it's whisper out. Okay? Go.
It's hard to tell what's this.
Same thing that we did before. Okay. You guys are going to go through the story. You're going to first write down what is going on in the picture. Then you're going to quietly read to each other. And then you're going to compare all the differences to this. Just like what we did. Okay? And go through as many as you can. You guys can talk about it. It might be the same. You might see something who doesn't. So it doesn't matter. But everybody's doing their own work. Okay? Question. Okay, go ahead and get started. All right, friends, you guys ready? what we're going to do is we're going to, I'm going to partner you guys up. I'm going to partner you guys up. So here is a story, Fishing with Grandpa, okay? You guys are going to go through and you're going to write one sentence about what's going on in that picture. Okay? Only one person has to write. The other person can just be the brainstormer. And then you're going to write the one sentence that describes what's going on in this book. Okay? And then you guys are going to turn that in to me. So I'm going to have you write. I'm going to have you write. So you guys work collaboratively, whisper, talk to each other. And you're writing down what's going on in that book. What's going on in that picture. One sentence. Now, what happens with the sentence? What goes with, or what happens when we write a sentence?
How do you start?
A capital letter, and at the end we have a period. Spelling doesn't matter. Do the best that you can. Okay? I want to see the idea more than I want you worried about how you spell the word cat in the hat. Okay? Question. Okay, work together. Go ahead. Yeah, that's fine. Or, yeah, and in the back, probably just kind of a combination so that they can see the drawing of what is happening. Okay. All right, let's go. So, now, it's very different when you guys are doing this on your own. Okay? It's really, really super, super easy, and we're doing it together. Really, really good job. Miss Hale says, okay, secret potion time. Secret potion time means you put your board up, you write your answers. No one can see. He can't see yours, you can't see him. It's everybody. Secret, secret, secret. And you write your answers down, okay, in secret potion. And then when Miss Hale says it's time to show, you show like this, okay? But nobody else sees what's on your whiteboard, okay? Until I say secret potion time, it's on the desk, okay? So here, let's go through these questions. So remember when we were talking about, because, okay, so tell me, what are we even doing? What are we doing? What are we doing today?
Remember?
We're reading a book. Why are we reading a book? Okay, so we're reading a book to get information. What's the big thing that we're doing? What were we doing up there? What were we doing? We're looking at the pictures and doing what? Think before you talk. Think about it. What do you think? What are we doing with the pictures?
We're looking at it so we know what's going on in the story.
And what are we comparing that to?
To the story.
To the story. We're comparing them. So we can see that we don't just do one thing, right? We do both, and we can use it to help us understand. So here's our question. These are the questions I want you thinking about when we're doing this today. It says, what do I see? You're looking, what do you see? How do I know what's going on? You gotta ask yourself, what's going on? If you're reading and you don't know what's going on, no problem. What pictures on the page allow us to make connections? And then, how does the picture help me understand what's going on? And how does the information directly relate to the picture? Okay? What information from the story is not found in the picture? So right now, let's get our secret potion up. Secret potion up. And here is the picture. I want you, secret potion right now, to write down what you see in the picture. Secret potion. Go. What's in the picture? I'll read the picture out.
A dog in the shadow or something.
Okay. So, whatever picture you want to draw, anything, you should be drawing it. So draw anything you want. You could be swimming in the ocean. You could be a butterfly. You could be an animal. It could be anything. Draw it. Then you tell me in 3 sentences what is going on in the picture. So just because you don't have, I'll use Kelsey because I know she loves dolphins. She has the picture of the ocean. There's not a dolphin in there. Her story can talk about there was dolphins swimming in the ocean, even if I don't see them that's what we have before. But her 3 sentences will tell me more about that picture. Okay? Go. Everybody, next time I come here, I should see you. Okay, so now, once you have one picture, I want you 3 sentences to describe to me what that picture is going on. Okay? Now, just because you didn't draw it doesn't mean you can't write about it. And remember, we're using complete sentences. I went to the park and I had a really fun time playing basketball. The best part of playing basketball was spending time with my dad. Whatever it is that you're doing, 3 sentences. Okay? So 1 picture, 3 sentences. 1 picture, 3, not just pictures, not just sentences. Okay? Well, no, just, you might not even finish 1. But I want you working on whatever I have you working on for the time we have. Okay? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, and we need to write a description.
Yep.
Open first page.
Remember, you gotta write a description after you read it.
First page we've read it.
How are we doing?
Okay.
Good. Keep going. Perfect. Keep going. All right, so secret potion. All right, so show me now. What do you? The same? Did they have that one? Just like what we did here.